Assalamu alaikum friends, my name is Bilal Khan and this is my 19th video of DevOps. So in this video I am going to talk about some of the functionalities of the Docker and container. So the first thing that I am going to discuss is the Docker desktop. Alright, so as you can see that I have opened the Docker desktop, which is the graphical user interface of Docker. Alright, and it contains containers, alright, and images. So these are the things that you will see in the Docker desktop. So these are some of the official images that the Docker has provided by default. Alright, Nginx, Redis, PostgreSQL, MongoDB. Alright, so these images are pre-installed. So after that, these are the containers. You can see the list of it, and these are the images. Currently there is no image present here, but I will be creating here in this video so that you can see how you can create images. So you can download this Docker desktop by simply write Docker desktop. Alright, install Docker desktop on Linux. Let's click open this website. And now basically as you can see, the Docker desktop is available for Mac, Windows and Linux. Alright, so I am using a Linux, so if you want to download it for Linux, let's click on the Ubuntu. I'm just showing you. So these are the prerequisites that you can that are required for you to install the Docker. And these are the commands to remove the Docker desktop if it is pre-installed. Alright, so you can download the new version also. So I am going to skip it, and then now the next thing is to install the Docker desktop. So the first thing is to do the step one is to go to the Docker page repository in which you will set up the repository. Alright, so these are some of the commands through which you can set up the repository by using these commands. Alright, and after it, use all these commands. And if your Docker engine is not installed and if you are trying to start from scratch, then you can install the Docker engine also. But I have installed all of them, and now after that install the Docker desktop. Now the second step is the download latest DEB package. So how you can download it from this release page? Let's open it. It's redirecting me. Now I'm present in the Docker desktop release node. So let's skip the 4.8.2 and move to the 4.8.1. Let's click on this Debian. Click on this, and now you will see that the Debian is installing. Alright, so I have installed it previously, so let's cancel it. And now you can see this is the name of the image that you have to put in the here. Alright, so first of all you will have to enter the sudo update command, and then after that you have to press the sudo apt-get install /docker desktop, and after this, instead of writing this version arc.dev, you simply need to copy this file name, alright, from Docker to the DEB and paste it here. Alright, once you paste this command and ignore all of them, you will press enter into the terminal and it will install this Docker desktop for you. Alright, so after that you can launch your Docker desktop, or you can see the version of your Docker or Docker Compose. So these are all the commands that you need to follow to understand what all of these commands are doing. Alright, so now I have shown you how you can use this Docker desktop in which multiple containers and images can be created. So now let's move to the Visual Studio Code, and the first thing I want to show you is this is the DevOps picture in which multiple tools are used. So, and it has multiple functionalities. So the first functionality is to do the planning of the project, and then the code. Alright, for the code, these are the tools that will be used. After that, after coding, let's build a project, and these are the tools for building a project. For testing it, these are the tools. For releasing the project, these are the tools to release a project. After that, deploy. For deploying a project, you need to have these tools like Docker, AWS, DCOC. For operating, these are some of the tools, and for monitoring, these are the tools. Alright, so it is containing, DevOps is basically containing a set of tools that will help you to monitor a project, plan a project, code a project, perform different functionalities on projects. Alright, with the help of these tools. Alright, So basically DevOps is divided into two parts. The first part is the development part, the second part is the operation part. Alright, so in the development part, you can create an application, create and write a Docker file, and from this Docker file you can create an image, and from this image you can create a container. Alright, this is the development part. Now the next part is the operation part. So in the operation part, you download an image that you created in the DevOps part, development part. After downloading an image, you can run that image and operate on it. Alright. So now let's move to the Docker components. The Docker components basically, these is three type of components that will be used in the Docker. Alright. So the first is the client, the second is the Docker host, the third is the registry. Alright. So first of all, the client will send a request through the Docker CLI command line tool. Alright. So the a client can send a request. Let's say a user send a request called Docker run. Alright. And after Docker run, he wrote a package. Alright. Let's say a package name is Ubuntu, or the package name is Nginx, or any kind of package that the user want to run. So he will simply write this that image name and run that in the Docker file. Alright. So once this request is submitted, it will be received in the Docker host or the Docker daemon. That is basically the server. So once this request is received in the server will check whether this image is present in my server or not. Alright. So let's say if a person send a request of to access the Ubuntu image. Now the server will see that whether the Ubuntu image is present in my stuff or not. So if it is present, then it will give to this client. Alright. So otherwise, if it is not present, then it will send the request to the registry. So what is the registry? It is basically a cloud platform that is called a Docker Hub. In the Docker Hub, there will be a lot of images that you can take. Alright. So from the registry, it will take the Ubuntu image, and after that, this Ubuntu image will be given to the client. So this is a three-step process. Alright. First, the client will send a request, and the Docker daemon will see if it is present in my server or not. If it is present, then it will give that to the client. If it is not present, then it will send a request to the registry and take this image from the registry. Right. So let's open the browser and show you the Docker Hub. So let's click on this. Now, as you can see, hub.docker.com. In this website, you can see that you can start for free by registering on it, and these are the images that you can download it. Alright. So if you want to see more images, see all Docker official images. So the first image I'm going to take is the hello world. Alright. So let's take this hello world. You can see that this is the official Docker image that you can use to see that whether the Docker is printing the images or not. Alright. So Docker Hub is basically giving us the image or not. So you can start it from the hello world. One thing you need to be aware of is that the Docker Hub is used in hackathons also, in which you don't need to install the software. Only the software will be given to you, and you can simply download the Docker image. Alright, the Docker image of it, and once the hackathon is over, you can simply delete this image. Alright, in this way your computer installation space will not be wasted. So this is the hello world. So if you want to download it, you can simply write, these are the commands that will show you how you can download and use the images. So let's open a terminal. The first thing I want to show you is let's run the Docker run hello world. Alright, so if I click on this, if you can see that it is unable to find that image in the Docker server. So now what it will do, it will find the hello world in the Docker Hub or the Docker registry. Now it has found the Docker hello world in the Docker registry. It will simply show me the message hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. Alright, so these are all the processes that I am going to discuss in the upcoming videos. You don't need to worry about it. So you just need to remember that the hello world is printed here, and now the Docker is working correctly. So now let's clear this, and after that, basically let's write another. Let's write images, Docker images. Basically, it will show you all the images that are installed in it. So let's press enter in it. You can see that the Docker image is installed. Hello World is installed. If I open the Docker desktop, you can see that Hello World is appeared here. All right. So this is the size of it. This is the created. This is the random numbers. Basically, it is not correct, so just ignore it. This is the image ID. This is the tag. It is the latest version of it, and this is the name of it. So now let's write another command, Docker run it Ubuntu. So the Docker is basically showing us the Docker CLI in which I'm using to fetch this command Ubuntu, and after that the run command is used. So run is used to run that image. All right, this is the image name. All right. Similarly, the hello world was the image name. And IT means interactive environment. It means that I want to be present in the container. All right. So let's click on this. Now it is fetching the latest image of the Ubuntu. It does not found this, so it will check in the Docker Hub from the online registry. Now it will take some time because this is the space of 30 MB. Alright. Now you can see that the Ubuntu image is downloaded, and now I'm currently present in the Ubuntu terminal. Alright. So basically, if you are using a Mac or Windows, so in this way you can use the Linux distribution in your operating system. Alright. So currently I am present in the Ubuntu also. So in the Ubuntu operating system, I am using the Ubuntu image with the help of Docker. Alright. So let's clear this. And now if I want to exit from it, I will simply write exit. And now I am currently present in my own operating system. So let's write Docker images. In this way you can see that two images are created. The first one was the hello world, the next is the Ubuntu that I have downloaded this time. So let's open the Docker desktop. You can see that hello world and Ubuntu is present. Alright, so now the next command is going to be, let's clear this, Docker pull Ubuntu, let's say 20.04. So basically, this is the Docker CLI that I'm using. This is the default command, pull. What is pull? So pull will basically download the image, but it will not run it. Alright, in the run image, we have seen that I have to write the run here to run that image, but let's say if I don't want to run that image, I just want to download it, so I will simply write the pull. Alright, so it will not run that image, but it will download it. And let's say if I want to download a specific version of it, so instead of writing the Ubuntu, because only writing the Ubuntu will download the latest version. So if I want to download the previous version, so I have to write the colon 20.04. You can write any version of it. So I just wrote this version. So let's click on this. So as you can see that the image is downloaded. Now let's clear this. And the next thing, the first thing that I want to show you is that the Ubuntu, a specified version that I have given, is downloaded, but it is not transferred to the Ubuntu image. Alright, so this is the functionality of the pull. So let's write Docker images. You can see that the Docker image, latest image is downloaded, and the previous version is also downloaded. Alright, so let's clear this. Now the next command is going to be PCAUX. So what does it mean? It will basically show you the processes that are currently running. So currently I am present in my main operating system, and this will show me all the processes that are running. So as you can see that these are all the processes that are currently running. So let's clear this and move to the another tab also. So now I am present in another tab, and if I write Docker run Ubuntu, IT Ubuntu, now I am present in the Ubuntu image. Alright, so this is the main operating system. This is the container image operating system that I am using. So let's say if I write PCAUX, these are the processes that are running in the main operating system, and these are the processes that are running in the Ubuntu image operating system. Alright, so these are, as you can see, that these are some of the processes, not a lot of processes. So as I have shown you in the previous video, that the container will not know what is present outside the container. So it is working in an isolated environment. Alright, so let's clear this, clear it also. Alright, so now let's move to another command, and that is docker ps. So what is docker ps? It will basically show you all the processes that are running in the container. Alright, the list of running containers. As you can see that currently only Ubuntu is running, because here I have opened the Ubuntu container. So that's why it is showing me the details of it. Alright, this is the container ID, image, and all the details of it. Alright, so similarly, if I clear it and write docker container ls, you will see that it is showing me the same data that I have shown you in the docker ps. Alright, because these are the same command that these are the commands that will give me the same result. Alright, this is also giving me the container details that are active, and this is also giving me the active container details. Alright, so after that, the next command is going to be docker container execute it, alright, and container ID. Let's take a look at this. This is the container ID that you can take it from here, or if you don't want to take it from here, let's write docker ps. You will see that it is also showing me the container ID. Let's copy it and write clear it docker container execute it and paste that container ID bash. So what it will do, it will basically help you to use multiple terminals in one container. Alright, so this is basically the container that I'm using, Ubuntu container, and this is by using this command I can use this terminal also in this Ubuntu container. Alright, so in this way I'm using two terminals in one container. So if I create a file in this container, this file will also be transferred to this container. If I perform some kind of functionality in this terminal, the same kind of functionality will also be performed in this terminal. So these two terminals are working at the same time. So let's click on this. As you can see that I am currently present in the Ubuntu terminal, and let's write ls. As you can see that these are the files that are present in the Ubuntu terminal. Similarly, if I write ls, alright. So after that, in this first terminal, if I write touch hey hello.txt. So this is the file name. Let's press enter, and now ls. As you can see that this hello.txt is created. Similarly, if I write ls again, and as you can see that hello.txt is created in this terminal also. So basically these two terminals are working at the same time. Alright, so let's exit it, and now let's close this, alright, container, and after exiting it, let's clear it, and now the next command is going to be docker, let's write ps. First of all, let's take this container ID and clear it. Now stop the container, because this Ubuntu container is running. So I want to stop it by using another terminal. Alright, so I will close this terminal image in another terminal. Docker stop container ID. Let's press enter on it. Now you will see that it will show me move me to the default operating system. Alright, as you can see that it has forwarded me to the default operating system. Now I am currently present in my default operating system. Similarly, I am present in the default operating system in this terminal also. Let's clear it. Now the next command is going to be docker ps. It will show me the running containers, but if I write -a, it will show me the stopped containers, that I have stopped it. So currently I have stopped the Ubuntu container now. So if I click on this, as you can see that it is giving me the list of containers that are stopped. Ubuntu, hello world. Alright, so these are the stopped containers that I have stopped some time ago. Alright. So now the next command is going to be remove those stopped containers. Let's say if I want to remove any one of them from the stopped containers list, I will simply take this container ID and let's write docker rm, enter the ID, alright, and press enter on it. Now this Ubuntu image that is stopped is removed from the memory. Similarly, let's say if I want to delete this hello world also, docker rm, let's press paste the ID here and press enter on it. Now it is showing me that this image is also removed. Let's clear it, docker ps a again. Now you can see that only one of our image is present here. Alright. So let's say if I want to, let's say if there are multiple images present here and I don't want to delete them one by one. How can I do this? I will simply write docker container prune f. So this prune will delete all the images, all the stopped images that are present here. Alright. So if I click on this, as you can see that only one image is present and now it is deleted. So I don't need to copy the container ID every time. So let's write docker psa. So it is showing me nothing here. Alright. So now the next thing, let's write the docker run. First of all, let's see what are the images that are present here. Alright. So currently there are 3 images. Similarly, if I open the Docker desktop, you can see that 3 images are also present here. And now the next command is to inspect the Docker container. Alright. So how you can inspect the Docker container? Let's run the Docker Ubuntu. Alright. And before it, let's write IT also. Sorry, IT. And now this will take no much time. Why? Because it is already downloaded. Now it is just have to run. Alright. So let's clear this, and now let's move to another terminal, and from another terminal I can inspect the data of it. Alright, container ID is this one. Alright, you can copy it directly from here. Copy it, and now let's paste it here. Now you will see that this is all the data of the Ubuntu image that is present. Alright, ID created on this date, path, argument, states, images. Alright, these are all the details of the this particular image. Let's stop this. Docker stop. Now paste it, paste the ID here. Now you will see that this Docker container is stopped. Alright, now it is stopped here. Alright. So let's clear it also. Now the next command is to basically see the containers that are running for a long time and to run them in the background. So how you can do this? The server are the best option for it. Alright. So you can use Alpine for it. So let's write docker run alpine ping www.google.com. So it will basically show you the data sets, data packets of the particular website. So let's click on this. First of all, it will download this Alpine image because it is not present in the image list, image directory. As you can see that these are the data packets that are received. Alright. So let's clear this, and now if I write docker images, you will see that the Alpine is also downloaded. Alright. So now let's write the docker run d alpine www.google.com. So what does it mean? So basically I have written the D here. Basically I don't want to be present in the terminal to see that data packets going on. Alright. I just want to take the ID of it, and I will know that this particular image is running. Alright. So let's before executing it, let's stop this image. Docker stop, And now take this image ID and stop it first. Alright, so nothing is present, so let's write PS, no image is running. Alright, PSA. Alright, so currently this Alpine is stopped. Alright, so now if I want to write Docker run the Alpine ping www.google.com, and now if I click on this, you will see that it is only showing me this Alpine image ID. It is not showing me the details of it, that every data packet is receiving. But you need to know that this Alpine is currently in executable mode. Now it is executing. Although I am not seeing that whether this image is executing or not, but if I write Docker PS, you will see that this Alpine image is currently running. Alright? So there is no need to show that each of the data packet is receiving. You just need to take this container ID, alright, and it will show you that this packet is running. Alright, so I can stop this container by using Docker stop, and you will simply need to take this container ID and paste it here. Now it will stop. Now if I clear this and write Docker PS, you will see that currently there is no container running. Alright, because I have stopped it. Now the next command is going to be Docker run Ubuntu echo hey. So basically echo hey will show you the result in the terminal. Alright, I have shown you in the Linux tutorial also. If you are not aware of this, you can watch my Linux tutorial. So I have explained it there. So it will basically show you the data that you have written here in the terminal, and this will be printed inside the Ubuntu operating system. So let's click on this. As you can see that he is printed here. Alright. So after that, the next command is going to be Docker logs, and before this, let's write Docker PS. Currently there is no image running, so let's write Docker PS A. It will show you the all the stopped containers. So let's take any one of them. So let's take the Alpine and copy it, clear it, Docker logs, and after that the container ID. Now it is showing me the history of that image that I have run before. Alright. So now the next command is going to be Docker logs, but you can also write the you don't need to write the whole container ID. You can simply delete all of them and simply write 2 or 3 characters of it. Alright. In this way you can also see the details of it. Alright. In this way, if you write, let's say, Docker logs since 5 seconds and the Docker container ID, you don't need to write the whole container ID. You can simply write some characters of them. So it will show you the 5 seconds history of this ID, of this container. All right. So currently there is no history of it in the 5 seconds, so it will not show you that. So let's write Docker PS, and let's write the container ID full. Alright, Docker PSA, it will show you the stopped containers. Let's copy this one, clear it, Docker logs, and since 5s, and paste it here. Now it is not showing me the data that is present in the 5 seconds. So it can show you the data in the 5 seconds that you have done. So now if I want to stop the containers, I don't need to, let's say if first of all I will have to run the container also. Let's write Docker run alpine. Alright, docker run alpine and ping google.com. Alright, so now this is receiving a packet. So let's move to another terminal and stop this. Docker ps. Now as you can see that currently this container is running, so I will simply take this ID, take this whole container ID and copy it, and now I will write the command docker stop. Instead of writing the whole container ID, I will simply take some of them, a few characters of them, click on this. Now this container ID will be stopped, this running image will be stopped. As you can see that it has stopped. Alright, so let's clear it also. Now the next command is going to be docker rm and some characters of it. So let's remove this. Now this data is removed. So docker psa, or this alpine of this container ID is removed. 67, there is no 67 present here in the container ID. Alright. So if you want to delete, let's say if I want to delete the container image, how can I do this? I will write first of all docker images. So these are currently these are some of the images that you have to take. So I will say first of all I will delete this Ubuntu with specific version. I will delete it. So I will write docker rmi, remove this image name. You can write the image name or you can write the image ID also. I am going to write the image ID. F means by force. If it is not deleted, then ignore it, but delete it must. So let's delete it. Now it is deleted. Docker images. You can see that currently there is no specified version of Ubuntu present here. Alright. So now the next command is going to be docker run d for detach, p for port, 80 and then nginx. So basically the nginx is an image that will what you can see that it will take something, it will take the data from this nginx port. So nginx has a port number 80. So what is the port number? If you have watched my previous video, in the previous video I have shown you that port will represent an application. Alright, so you can watch this if you know more about it, that port will basically represent an application. So the data from the nginx from this 80 port will be transferred through to this 8080. Alright, so you can write this 40 also. Let's write 70. Let's write 70. So the port data from the 80 port from the nginx will be transferred to this 70. Alright, and it will be detached. Alright, so let's click on this, and now first of all it will run this nginx image, and then it will transfer the data from the 80 port to the 70. Localhost means local machine or memory. Alright, so let's wait for it for some time. So now as you can see that the nginx image is downloaded. Let's copy this port number and open the browser, and let's write localhost 7070. Let's paste it, and now you can see that I can access the nginx image on my local machine. Alright, by typing this localhost 7070. Why? Because the data from the nginx port 80 is now transferred to the port 7070. Alright, so this is how you can transfer the data from this is the forwarding of the port forwarding. This will transfer the data from one port number and the IP address to another port number and the IP address. Alright, this is the port forwarding. So this is the thing that you need to remember, how you can transfer the data from one port to another port, and that will be used in the local machine. So that's it. So let's see what are the things that we have learned. First of all, we have learned the things about the Docker desktop. After that, DevOps, what are the things that will be used, Docker components, and Docker run, Docker image, Docker pull, Docker PS, Docker ls, stop container, remove container, inspect, and logs, and stop, and how you can take the few characters from the container ID. So these are all the things that we have learned today. So these are some of the notes that I will be uploading in the GitHub repository. I'm going to give the link of it, so you can watch this and you can visit that GitHub repository, and all the details will be given to you. So that's it for now. If you like this video, then make sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, then ask those questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer all of them. So till then, goodbye.